here. Got the man with the plan right next to me. Dasani Red is back.
What's going on, everybody?
And he's projecting this time around.
What is going on, everybody?
Welcome to another episode of Social Thought. I'm going to have my host with me. The prettiest legislator, John Carlo Laverius, is going to be here. Dasani Red is going to be here. We're going to be playing some new music. Today's episode is a very, very deep one in the recent and tragic event of Juice WRLD's death, which was found out earlier this morning. We discussed the idea of the rock star lifestyle in the hip-hop community. We're also going to be speaking on the glorified popularity contest that is today's politics. And this man gave me that nice little line right there, which is really good. And, George Zimmerman plans on suing the family of Trayvon Martin for over $100 million in regards to being a victim of conspiracy along with malicious prosecution and defamation. He plans to sue the family of Trayvon Martin and others. We're going to be discussing that as well. And of course, all that and more. Today's episode is Social Thought, Drugs, Fame, and Mental Health. That's for today's episode. Hit that share button. The call-in number is 914-219-0905. I'm going to post that in the chat there. Welcome, everyone. Okay. And we are on this new platform called Restream, and we're broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Ooh,
that's pretty cool.
I like that.
I know we're growing. We're growing. So I'm wondering if that is okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I think it's there. Okay, I'm working on it. So, all right. So we're gonna play our first song of the day right here. Some new Brandon Lee Richardson. It's called "Wanna Stay." We'll be right back after this short break. All right. Yeah.
Tell me if you wanna stay. Yeah. Girl, we been through it, mad years in it. Maybe it's the whole phase, maybe we just living. Come on, who you kidding? You know we look fine, but every time we try, it's only sexually driven. And word, that's fine, I'm down for whatever, but you stay getting jealous when I'm with whoever. I could bring it through, her and me and you. No? Keep it real, you want a gentleman? Yeah, if you acting like a bitch, I'ma say what it is. But I'd rather have you, the bitch you come with. Tell me if you wanna give me something I can run with. I fly low end, just let me know when I go all in. You say you tired of the games like you ain't been for it. Girl, I got the patience, I can handle all this. Tell me if you wanna stay, wanna stay. I can't guarantee this in the morning. Tell me if you wanna stay, You know it's true. All I want is you, your energy, your vogue, your panties and no shirt on. Aight, girl, that's enough. What if I told you too much? Cause lately you've been acting like you ain't the same person. Coming at my ego when you know that be working. Girl, why you toying with me like you do? And then say you want it. Come on, stop running. How many times do you see it thinking? I know you feel it too. Cause even with my confidence, I need to hear it. If you wanna stay, tell me if you wanna stay. You won't guarantee this in the morning. Tell me if you wanna stay. Tell me if you wanna stay. I can't guarantee this in the morning. Tell me if you wanna stay.
Everything I do, you know I do it for the set. The homies don't go. They ain't triple threat. You got to run it up set. You won't even sweat. I'ma live my life every day with no regret. My homies in the hood, they ain't never left. Ain't tryna catch feelings, they tryna catch a jet. Got the real ones who can't see the sunset. I'ma live my life every day with no regret. In my projects, a lot of shit process. The streets made me monster like a Loch Ness. And them hustlers pirates used to make our eyes stretch. I spit a little game just to get her thighs wet. Whatever you like to do, then you should try it. You only live once, I live and die by it. I lost a couple fake ones, I got my vibe back. And now I'm starting to see like a iMac. You see, I took my dreams and I magnified that. And then I took my energy and amplified that. They talking about a train, but I'm on the right track. And now your boy bad. Whew. Mike Jack, and my flow so cold, think I need an ice pack. The shit I'm going through got me like I might snap. Then I hit the booth like, where the mic at? I could be having a bad day, get it, bring me right back. Everything I do, you know I do it for the set. The homies don't go, they ain't triple threat. You got to run it up set, you won't even sweat. I'ma live my life every day with no regret. My homies in the hood, they ain't never left. Ain't tryna catch feelings, they tryna catch a jet. Got the real ones who can't see the sunset. I'ma live my life every day with no regret. That party on the set, feeling in the prospect. Where I come from, we tryna dodge death. Now our lives like a cat, don't know how many we got left. I wake up every day, thankful that I got breath. They gave my brother 20, that shit's a hot mess. These past 2 years, I feel like I've not slept. He gifted me some mail, and you know I got that. They wanted me to fail, but I bounce back. I'm the hottest in the city, I wouldn't doubt that. Go and take my stats, you count that. Then they start asking questions, I don't know about that. They coming for my cheese, so we setting mouse traps. They tryna find my lane, GPS be route that. And if they won't beat, then we out back. Real talk, no cap, with no flex. And the last thing left is to free my flex mode. Everything I do, you know I do it for the set. The homies don't go, they ain't triple threat. You got to run it up set, you won't even sweat. I'ma live my life every day with no regret. My homies in the hood, they ain't never left. Ain't tryna catch feelings, they tryna catch a jet. Got the real ones who can't see the sunset. I'ma live my life every day with no regret.
You had to get the what? Yeah, that's just our thing. I always wear a dark color. Welcome back to Social Thought, everybody. It's your host, Michael. I am here with my two co-hosts for the day. I got a lot of things open right now. Prettiest legislator, John Carlo Laverius. Stop. Don't shave anymore. The beard looks fine. Like, why do you shave? No, I'm just saying, don't do it anymore. That's what I'm saying. Don't do it anymore.
I realized that without my beard, my left eye looked crooked, looked droopy.
What do you mean?
Because I got a Forrest Whitaker eye, bro.
What?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Shut up. What are you talking about?
What?
Yeah, like what? And on my right here, I have Dasani Red,
Spicy mama.
music extraordinaire.
Ooh.
I like it. I think you're a great musician.
Thank you.
The
You're very
crooner
welcome.
of Trap and B.
Yeah. So check this out. So this is what we're talking about today, everybody. We're talking about hashtag drugs, hashtag fame, hashtag mental health.
Mental health.
You guys like that topic, right?
Yeah.
You like that title? So today's topic is George Zimmerman plans on suing the family of Trayvon Martin for over $100 million in regards to being a victim of conspiracy, along with malicious prosecution and defamation. I got a call coming in. Also, we're going to be talking about We Speak on the Glorified Popularity Contest. That is today's politics. This man gave me that word right there. And then, in the recent and tragic event of Juice WRLD's death today, we discussed the idea of the rock star lifestyle in the hip-hop community. Caller, what's going on? Welcome to Social Thought.
Hello.
Hello.
Signal.
Okay, call was
Alright.
dropped. Nice. Yeah, they was probably like, oh, I'm gonna call in, but not talk. Anyway, so let's get it started here, everybody. So let's talk about drugs, fame, and mental health, right? So today, very, very tragic news of Juice WRLD's passing. It is stated that he passed away from a seizure, and or he suffered a seizure, and that was what led to his death. Um, so this is coming from TMZ. Juice WRLD dead at 21. Final moments captured. I will. I can post the article here so you guys can see his final videos. So if you don't know, 9:55 a.m. One of the songs on Juice's Too Soon EP was called Legends, and it has a pretty prophetic lyric. As we said, the track was about Lil Peep and XXX Tentacion's death. In the songs he raps, what's the 27 club? We ain't making it past 21. He did pass away at the age of 21. The song and EP was released on June 19th, 2018, the day after Triple X was murdered in South Florida. Juice WRLD and Triple X recorded a track called Did You Go? Juice's fellow artists were waking up to the shocking news. So, let me just get to the part.
Quick question.
Yes.
Do you think, a lot of artists, especially with the 27 Club, always like moments prior to their death, they're always recording something that is connected to death in some way. Do you think that some people kind of know when their time is coming?
That's that's what I always wanted to. That's a question that I always kind of ask. It's like, do people know their time? Maybe. Like, do you feel it? Like, is there something like right
feeling.
before? Yeah,
not necessarily like a conscious thing,
like,
but it's something like within the spirit that's like, you may not notice it, but you're unconsciously doing these sort of things, and then the next thing you know, you're gone.
It's a very good question. Again, I'm obviously still alive.
Right.
We're all still alive,
also,
so we wouldn't
God.
know. But
yeah.
I mean, have you ever had like a near-death experience where have you ever? I know that there are days where I may be like driving, or I'll wake up, and sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I feel like something's gonna happen. Like I have this anxiety or something that something's gonna happen, but. Again, we're obviously all still living, so it's not like we can.
Sure, but I'm going off, what I know from 27 Club and this recent passing of Juice WRLD that, there's always that one record, prior to their death that has to do with just that, Aaliyah, her last song, Rock the Boat, you know what I'm saying? Some people would say that there's some signs in there.
And that's the thing that, and again, that's another thing that we're always kind of throwing out whenever an artist passes away.
Right.
We're always throwing out these conspiracy theories instead of looking at the actuality or what's going on or what's in their life.
Yeah,
again,
my question was definitely conspiracy based.
You know what I'm saying? So again, like
Absolutely,
I said, we want to explore that the rock star lifestyle within the hip hop community in general, because you look at people like Kurt Cobain, who died young. You know what I'm saying? People like Whitney Houston. You look at Amy Winehouse, Mac Miller. Juice WRLD. And these were all causes of. We're not sure what the main cause of death for Juice WRLD was, but we can assume that he was living that rock star lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? The lyrics in his music would reflect that as well. And again, we're living in this world today where we're seeing a lot of our artists, you know what I'm saying, the way they represent, or the way they, the way they output their music, or the way they output their, their image is of a rock star lifestyle.
Sure, because
mentality.
hip hop is rock and roll for this generation. And so of course, you're gonna live a certain lifestyle.
So let's touch on this topic here. Would you say his death, and this is all speculation. We don't know until these reports come out. But do you believe there's some type of conspiracy, or do you think this is a drug-related death?
Well, people do pass from seizures, right? There's a type of seizure called grand mal seizures, which is a very, really strong seizure that, I've seen people who suffer from seizures get a seizure and fall to the ground, right? Working with some patients in mental health, some of them have to wear a helmet because they fall down. And, drugs, if you are taking drugs, it increases that chance of happening, right? So, if he was taking, let's say, hard drugs like cocaine, he was shooting up heroin, if he was doing lean, what I'm saying, doing stuff like that, it could possibly well be the cause of death was a seizure by way of drugs, right? Yeah, the same thing with Michael Jackson. He had a heart attack in his sleep, but the cause of it was propofol. He was addicted to this drug. So maybe, possibly. I mean, you would have to wait for toxicology reports to come out, right, and the medical examiner to do their autopsy. But if I had to give my point of view, it would be drugs that created the grand mal seizure that eventually led to his death.
Wow. What do you think, man?
If you listen to Juice WRLD, you can hear, in his lyrics, what he deals with, the drugs he partakes in, and sadly, that's like 90% of the rap game doing the same thing he doing, whether they rap about it or not. He was on a flight. I'd like to think that in those times you like to, you're relaxed. I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking maybe he took something. And
So they state that he died Sunday morning after suffering cardiac arrest at a private hangar at Midway Airport. Paramedics were called to the hangar operated by Atlantic Aviation shortly after 2 a.m. According to Chicago Fire Department spokesman Larry Langford, the 21-year-old rapper, whose real name was Gerard Higgins, apparently had arrived midway on a private flight. It was said that he collapsed in the airport.
Yeah.
One report said that he collapsed in the airport.
Well, seizures happen like that. They just come up, man. Boom. Like heart attacks. It can happen anywhere.
He was pronounced dead at 3:14 a.m. And this is the Chicago Tribune, by the Chicago Tribune staff. So it's a lot of different reports here, that's going on in regards to this. And again, like I said, we're speaking about this rock star lifestyle mentality. You know what I'm saying? Again, do we glorify this? You know what I'm saying? It's our youth that's,
I think you've heard a lot of musicians say that. Sometimes when they do drugs, it kind of heightens their ability, their creativeness.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the times of the Beatles and Kiss, rock and roll, they would take LSD, they would take shrooms, and that elevated their creativity, right? Or they felt that way. Kurt Cobain did that.
Yeah, and I mean, in a sense, I can attest to it. I'm not famous or anything, but again, I can attest to it. I have gone on stage multiple times and done spoken word. I've gone on stage and I've emceed, and there are times when I've had a drink or two, maybe three, before I went on stage to perform. To perform, and it's definitely it's definitely given me so much more confidence in doing that because again, there are people that have that stage fright. So I'm not ready for that. Again, this is a different lifestyle though. You know what I'm saying? These are guys that are going up there every single day and performing thousands sold out shows. So you can only imagine the type of pressure that he may have had on him to be able to perform.
And he was pretty big.
Yeah,
Lucid Dreams.
Lucid Dreams was a huge song. Was a huge song, and he had a lot of followers. A whole lot of fans, and he was very talented. So with all of that, it definitely comes pressure day in and day out. Dealing with with everything. I once heard an entertainer say that one of the most stressful things that they had to deal with on a day-to-day basis was that they're the only person in their family with money, so they have to take care of everyone.
Sure,
and
sure.
I can only imagine how stressful that is, even if you do have money. I mean, these people, they're human, but they go through so much because they're on these platforms. Like they go through so much that we don't know about.
Fame definitely comes at a price, man.
Yeah.
And for a lot of artists, that price is their life. You know what I'm saying? When you're on tour, let's say 8 months out of the year, constantly, and it's not necessarily the music that hurts them; it's the traveling.
Yeah,
it's the traveling where you're traveling to different time zones, and you have jet lag, but you got a show in the next hour, so you better get it together, buddy.
Yeah,
and I've seen. I'm reading a couple comments here, one from Mia and one from Shimmy. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Social Thought. Hit that share button. I believe it is. Mia says, I believe it's related to his drug past. It could have been withdrawal effect he suffered from. Also, Shimmy says, I'm not saying last forever, but nobody's death should be a temporary topic. Absolutely, I agree with both of those. And again, mental health definitely plays into this a lot. We are living in a world today where mental health is being looked at a lot stronger. Mental health in the black community is still being overlooked, but there's a growing sense of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a concern and discernment for mental health within the black community. Yeah. I believe that, again, a lot of these newer hip hop artists, they're being more open in a sense in their music than I believe ever before.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and that's why all of the topics are connected. Fame, drugs, and mental health. They're all connected because a lot of the new artists are putting all these things out on the forefront, and they're showing that they deal with these things. Like with fame, it comes, it's a strain on mental health, and for some people, they turn to drugs. Not everybody, but for some people, that's their escape.
And this is, and again, in that lifestyle, that's what you're around that 24/7. I mean, again, I brought this up a couple times in the messages, and we talked about it before the show started. Rick Ross himself spoke about how he became very addicted to drugs, how he was abusing codeine. You know what I'm saying? He himself had a seizure. He wrote this in a book himself. Like while he was, having sex with someone, he literally had a seizure. You know what I'm saying? And he was hospitalized numerous times for his heart, So again, if you guys ever read about it, codeine does result. One of the side effects is a seizure. You can, you'll have a seizure.
Yeah, it's an opioid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough.
So, I don't know. It's a tough subject, man. I don't. Now, what I want to dive into is, a lot of people will throw this conspiracy out there that, all because he wrote about he wasn't going to make it past 21 or whatever, that people were out there to kill him. Oh, he just signed a major label or he just signed a major deal and he wasn't, people was out there to try to get him. When do we begin to stop using that narrative and start pointing at logic and health and mentality?
Well,
like when do we?
The thing is, like stuff like that is controversial, but it is entertaining. People like that. People like to say that the music industry has a dark past and that the music industry is filled with Masons that are connected to the Illuminati,
and everything,
and thus and so forth. But anybody who knows about Freemasonry, me being a Mason myself, that's the complete opposite of what Masonry is.
Right.
It's completely opposite of what the Illuminati is. The Illuminati comes from the illuminated people. The Illuminati were the Egyptian scholars that taught Socrates and Plato and all these other philosophers. But I mean, there's and people make up those stories when they're from the outside. And they don't know the inner workings. Yes, the industry is really, really cutthroat. Anybody who works in music, who's trying to get into the music scene, knows how cutthroat that is. Right. Artists have said it multiples of times that it is a cutthroat industry to be a part of. So of course, it's going to come with some BS. You know, it's gonna come with a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, the reality is, every day as anybody, but every day as a famous person, somebody who has his platform, who lives their life under a microscope, he and anyone is dealing with a multitude of things, and it could have been anything.
Could have been anything. Yeah, right.
It's just it's sad to see someone leave, that early in their career. It's sad to see someone leave anytime, but like, I heard he just turned 21. 6 days ago?
Wow. Yeah, he was young. Yeah.
That's little to no time on this earth.
Right.
That's nothing, man.
It happened so fast.
That's nothing, brother.
That is I doubt he even got to enjoy, all of the fruits of his labor. I don't know if he has, a family as in kids and all of that stuff. I don't know, but that's tough. Even whether he does or doesn't. I see he had a significant other on his page, and I can only imagine like what she's going through.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I think the worst part about all this is that it's becoming so common now that we're losing so many young people. To mental health issues, to drugs, to violence. It's becoming so common, and the ones that are going are the ones who have had the greatest potential to be legendary for our generation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that was another question that we wanted to jump into about Juice WRLD as well. There's another conversation that came up. Could he be considered legendary?
I think that
we got to be
there
careful.
are so many
not every
celebrity
death is a legendary death.
Understood. People got so many different definitions of what a legend is, and maybe if he wasn't a legend in the light where everyone sees him, that man came out of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough place. I'm sure he been grinding for years. He could rap his ass off. You know what I'm saying? He could be a Chicago legend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to people, he's a worldwide. You know what I'm saying? There are people that were diehard fans. They love this man's music. So I don't think we get to decide that.
Yeah, it's like Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
Exactly.
He's legendary on the West Coast, and for some people here on the East Coast too. Right.
We got a call coming in. Caller, what's going on? Welcome to Social Thought.
Hello, what's up? It's Shimmy here.
What's going on, Shimmy? How you doing, brother?
Like you.
What's up, man? It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you guys on the show. You're all looking good and healthy.
I try to be, man.
You're all looking nice right now. I just want to speak on the Juice thing for a minute. I personally, David know I'm real picky with music. I personally have not gotten a chance to get into it, and I'm kind of not gonna say I'm scared, but I don't want to use this opportunity right here to get into his music. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like personally, his buzz was there. Like, yeah, it's your style. You're listening to Juice WRLD. You understand what I'm saying? But I feel like the breaking news, I feel like it's more impacting due to it just being the wake up news. I feel like if it would have just happened at like 4 o'clock, I feel like it's just the amount of support he's getting. I understand he's a young artist. I understand him saying he's got many plaques, and I got nothing but respect for it. You know what I'm saying? Forget all the extra stuff. I got nothing but respect. But I can't say anything about him, good or bad. But I just personally feel like the love he's getting as a, you know what I'm saying, as a to be resting in peace is not genuine. It's trending. You understand what I'm saying? So I had a conversation with just about this on the train.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up as well.
I'm listening. It's just lagging.
No. I understand. It's lagging. It's gonna lag a little bit on the streaming platform of it, but Blog Talk Radio is gonna be fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about that as well. I wanted to bring that up because John Carlo has said many times when it comes to the black community and advocating for the black community that we're trending. We're more of a trending advocators.
Yeah, it's a trending thing more than like a subtilized. It's not like his accident is bringing a cause together. It's just creating conversation. It's just basically it's good controversy. You know what I'm saying? It's not good controversy, but it's just attention. It's nothing genuine for Juice WRLD to look like for example, compare this to the XXX situation.
Right.
Now, I understand they both died in two completely different matters. It's just with XXX, he was in the spotlight at the time that he died. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he was already at the top of everybody's playlist. He was already at the top or the first page of everybody's Apple Music. So he was in your face when we took that loss. We haven't really been in tune with Juice WRLD enough recently to understand what's going on. And then for the first thing everybody can say, you know, it can be drug related, it can be codeine related, but also he could have just it could be anything. So I feel like the trending of it is going to turn it from being a young artist who was going through some things and took a loss to, oh wow, we found codeine and, you know, in his system, which cuts his credibility as an artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just that's just all I got to say about it. I just feel like it's not genuine. Usually we feel when somebody big dies, we all feel it. It all hits us a certain way. This one kind of just came out of nowhere, and the first thing is Juice WRLD's dead. It's on every platform, and then drugs, mental health and drugs. It's like nothing came in between that. Nothing, you know, nothing about his album sales, nothing about his plaques, his awards, anything came up about it. So that's just personally how I feel about it. I just feel like the world made his passing a trend.
Right. Right.
Instead of an actual memorial and loss to the world. And that's really it.
Great thoughts.
I agree. I mean, I don't think we'll be talking about it 2 weeks from now. We won't be talking about Juice WRLD. You know?
And that's
that's what I was saying.
That's so sad.
That's why I just have to get it there.
And that's the worst part, you know.
Yeah, and you know, again, it's because, again, in a sense, was he impactful enough?
I think for the people who
listen
were
to him,
Juice
yes.
WRLD
For
fans,
his generation, he was
definitely.
impactful.
I'll tell
for
you
wanna
his
say?
fans, absolutely.
Now, question personally, just update me. How long has he been out?
Yeah, and
I know I heard of Lucid Dreams. I know Lucid Dreams has been out for about a year or so. But as an artist publicly, has he been?
think about a year or two, about 2 years.
I think he's been in the
3-4 years.
he's been in the spotlight. He's probably been in the spotlight for about mainstream. He's probably been because he's supposed to be on the forefront of emo rap, where your feelings are on the forefront. Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta give at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
But he's been grinding. You know what I'm saying? He's been underground.
There was a blog between him and what was it, Lil Nas X when they came out about the genre. So that was the first time I heard about both of them really, but that was the first time I heard about Juice WRLD. So from there, I'm just like, I don't know. It's sad, but it's just more sad that I don't know. It's just maybe how I seen it. I was on the go all day, so how I seen it, pops up on my phone and you scroll down.
Right. You see it, and it pops up.
Yeah, my bad. I had the phone and the computer. I'm like looking at it, talking on the phone.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah, man, I
But
definitely.
I'm just calling in to just say that I'm definitely, I'm definitely supporting the show, but I don't know. I just feel like everybody should just be more realistic than fake sympathetic about it. That's it.
Again, like I said, and that's why I brought up the impactful thing because you've seen Nipsey Hussle was doing a lot for his community. Yeah. He was doing a lot for LA, and you know what I'm saying. You want to. I'm sure as news stories come out, you may start hearing of what he was doing for Chicago, for his home city as well. So
I hope so. Man.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then wait. Juice WRLD is from Chicago.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I got a little thing from Spotify for artists. He had 3 billion streams, over 152 million hours. I'm assuming. Or minutes, my fault.
Yeah, those are numbers.
Listeners, 81.7 million, and he streamed over 79 countries. So, I mean, 3 billion streams. I mean, he was making an impact,
for his generation. Absolutely. But again, I think it's his fan base.
Okay.
I personally never listened. Aside of Lucid Dreams, I never listened to Juice WRLD.
He had like a cult following, so to speak. And
mind you, that's the first thing I heard. I just didn't get into him as an artist. I didn't.
Yeah. Neither did I.
And of course, we're of a different generation as well. You know what I'm saying? Shimmy, I'm a little old. I'm just a bit older than you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bit older. I'm just a little bit older than you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a 90s baby, so,
You sure?
Yeah,
You're not born in 89?
I was born in 88.
I was born in 89, but I was born
I saw 87 on your birth certificate. 1987.
Wait, hold on.
I
wait a
was
minute.
joking.
Wait a minute. Listen, I was born in '89. I was born June 13th, 1989. That's the middle of the month in the middle of the year.
All right.
Think about that.
You got it.
You round that off to 90.
That don't count.
You
That
round that
does
off.
count. What are you talking about? Doesn't count.
You're still 30.
It don't matter. You almost there.
You know, look,
You damn right.
I didn't know.
Go ahead, man. I'm
My
sorry.
bad. I just got cursed out for giggling too loud. No. Then my last thing to say though is now him being from Chicago, how does that impact the original, era of music with Chicago?
Right. You got
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper. You
But
got
see, and-
Kanye.
But there is, and that's what I'm saying. There's
Wait,
so
yeah,
many
okay,
different.
well, who else is from Chicago? Because I'm thinking drill rappers, and then I hear Juice WRLD, and you just told me that. I didn't even know that myself.
Chance is from
Chance.
Chicago. Chance has impacted Chicago like crazy. He's donated
Schools.
millions of dollars to schools.
Mhm.
He's bought out the Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, you right. He
Yeah.
also got that. He also has a charity foundation.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Came
Him
across that.
and Juice WRLD, I think, are the first two huge acts out of
Natural
Chicago
artists.
behind the drill rap, because they were like in that scene for so long, drill rap for so long, and then here comes Chance, here comes Juice WRLD on two different total waves. So that was, I think that kind of confused people a little bit about where they were from,
Right.
because Chicago was known for that drill for.
Okay, yeah, nah,
so
you
long.
right. Because Chance, he's commercial now. He can go on,
Yeah.
like TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
MTV
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
But he's still independent. He did this all independently. No major label.
Oh yeah, that is right.
No major label.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. I definitely
See?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good for him,
I
man.
definitely didn't know that.
Yo, Shimmy.
But look, I'm gonna get going. Those are just my comments on the topic.
We appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you,
We
man.
gotta do work with you, man.
Yeah, we
wait,
gotta do work.
oh, wait.
Hit that share button, man.
All right, I got you. And I'm still watching, so I'm gonna keep tuned in.
Thank you.
Be easy, bro.
Later.
All right, bro.
That was
Shimmy,
great,
everybody.
man.
Shimmy,
That was
everybody.
great,
Great
man.
insight. Great insight.
Hey,
And again,
keep calling in, man. The number to call in is 914
219.
219-0905. We
Definitely
definitely want
call
to
in.
hear your social thought on the recent passing of Juice WRLD, on drugs, on fame, on mental health. We definitely want to see that. I see that Dr. Weldon McWilliams is tuning into the
Doc.
Facebook. One of the greatest community activists that's out there in Rockland County. Also a professor of mine from Dutchess Community College who taught me a lot about politics. So we want to hear your thoughts too, Doc. We want to hear your thoughts too.
do these rappers have to glorify drugs in order to be relevant in this game?
I don't think necessarily have to glorify, but I think it's a part of a rites of passage in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind
Explain
of
that a
part
little
of it.
more. Yeah.
Like it's kind of part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, for example, in politics, right? It's a rite of passage to wear a suit and tie every day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of comes with the territory. So with things like rock and roll and hip hop, drugs is kind of part of the territory. So you kind of partake in it, whether it be something small as weed to something as extreme as codeine.
Yeah. And Chance the Rapper, another artist from Chicago, said in one of his songs that he was addicted to Xans at some point. At one point, he was addicted to Xans. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you look like you're about to
No,
say something.
what I wanted to say is that I had a older person tell me that he's like, my generation, our rappers dealt with drug dealing. Your generation is dealing with drug using. And I wanted to know, do you guys think there's any truth to that?
Oh,
Oh,
100%.
yeah, I think so,
I
yeah.
think so.
I
I
think
think
it's a great point.
that's a great point because again, back in the 90s when you heard Biggie and you heard Jay and you heard Nas, all these guys were selling. You know what I'm saying? They were selling drugs to get into the game. A lot of our 90s artists. Now we're looking at 2013 and up artists like, Lil Yachty and Juice WRLD and XXX and all these guys, and all they're talking about is, you know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne in a sense, I guess you could say Lil Wayne in a sense paved the way for that. Because remember, he was glorifying that in all of his songs, how he talked about drinking codeine and
Syrup.
and syrup and everything.
Yeah.
And now
You know
look
what I'm
what it looks like.
Exactly.
He got about 3 dreads in his head.
Yeah. So, I guess in a sense, Lil Wayne's generation of music, when Lil Wayne started getting in the game, he kind of paved that way for artists of today to be able to look and feel the way they are today. I guess in a sense you could say. I could say that in a sense.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, lean is I know because that's like that seems to be like the aggressor, in a lot of these situations. That comes from Texas, I believe, and yeah, I think there were a few artists, outside of Wayne, that
the way they are today,
definitely that glorified it, but I think Wayne is probably the one who put it on the forefront for me, who actually made me think about like, yo, what is lean? What's syrup? What's this? What that? You know what I'm saying? And that plays a big part because it's got to start somewhere.
Right.
Wayne being so influential. I don't want to put all the blame on Wayne. You know what I'm saying? But with him being so influential, it definitely, because if kids want to be like him, they'll definitely try and do what he does.
I mean, for a lot of rappers, Wayne is still their number one artist.
And Wayne definitely paved the way for hip hop music. I think in a sense, he definitely paved the way for hip hop to be played, on the radio, like as mainstream hits. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that literally opened up the door for, I can say, white folks to enjoy hip hop music.
And then he
was rock and roll and hip hop.
Yeah, and then you think about it.
Started doing skateboarding.
Rockstar lifestyle might not make it.
Right.
Remember that?
Gucci Mane did that first.
Yeah.
But nah, I got you though.
But Lil Wayne was on that track.
But Gucci was on the same thing, doing a bunch of drugs, especially lean, and and he had to make a complete 360 because that was destroying his life. And
jail actually helped him.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
What I was gonna, I lost what I was about to say about Wayne and drugs. Oh, you got to think about, for a lot of these guys, it's probably easier to talk about drugs because that's what everybody else is doing. Everyone's dealing with these mental health problems, so to speak, and then they're like, you're not rapping about going to see a therapist.
Right.
You gonna rap about, I take this to take the pain away, because it's easier to do that.
Right.
But it's real unfortunate because it's in a lot of the new lyrics that you hear today. It's in so many new songs. So many of these kids are doing it, and then so many of like just listeners and civilians are doing it because their music idols are doing it.
Right.
And it's really turned into a real bad epidemic.
Absolutely. Because I don't know about the music industry. At least from the time when I interned at Def Jam, there in drugs wasn't as apparent as it was when I was there. But I never seen like a social worker in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got these issues, you got these mental health issues. All right, talk to this social worker, talk to this behavior specialist. You know what I'm saying? That you don't see that there. And that goes to show how much the industry cares less about the artist.
And I think that's another thing that we need to take a look at when it comes to hip hop artists or artists in general getting into the game. You know what I'm saying? I think that as in a sense, the NBA has the NBA's Players Association.
Yes.
I feel like the hip hop community should have an association where they are able to take care of their artists, where they are able to have programs for them, where rehabilitation programs, or programs where they can understand or teach financial literacy and this, that, and the third. And again, people will look at it and be like, well, you're going to get millions of dollars when you do a show. You're going to get hundreds of thousands of dollars. Learn to take care of the stuff yourself. Look into those programs yourself. But it's not that easy because you're not signing 30, 40, 50-year-olds in the music industry. You're signing teenagers and young adults
who've never seen $1 million.
Who've never seen $1 million in a check before.
And got to get out the hood.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Again, I think the NBA is doing an incredible job in
attacking, mental health issues and whatnot. Yeah. As far as it goes, people who are in that, in that millionaire, thing like where they are, making all that money and this, that, and the third. I definitely feel like, they are like, because what people don't realize is people with money, a lot of the times they have the same problems that people without money do.
If not more, bro.
If not more,
because they have to, because the way that they get the money. You know what I'm saying? Like for people like myself, you know, I work a 9 to 5. You know, Monday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? I do well for myself. I go home, I'm cool. I'm not necessarily under a microscope.
Yeah.
Right? But someone like Juice World, someone like um, Chris Brown, you know, these are people who are under the microscope, and the way they get money is by being under that microscope. You know, by being consistently relevant in an industry that's ever changing. And if you're not in the loop with music, you're cooked, bro. It's over.
Right.
That's it.
Right? So I think that's the hardest part of it is like, you know, the stress is I have to stay relevant. Because if I don't stay relevant in this music industry, I am going to lose.
And I wanted to speak. I'm sorry, hold that thought. Don't lose it. I want to speak on what Gold said. Welcome to the show. Anybody that just popped into the show, please definitely hit that share button, man. We definitely want you. We've been on this topic for almost an hour, which is pretty dope. Yeah. But before Wayne, there was Run DMC who contributed to rap going mainstream. Kara.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and Wu-Tang Clan and all that.
Made drugs.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what we were getting at, because what Dasani stated was
you were speaking about drug use.
Yeah, he's speaking about drug use, how you know, how the game changed from drug dealing to drug usage.
Right.
Which it definitely did.
Gold also says zeros don't change the baggage one may be carrying until they do the work on the mental.
Yeah.
It's absolutely correct, man. And sometimes, you know, money adds to the baggage. Even though you have financial freedom, doesn't mean you have liberation of the mind. I think
Absolutely.
Bob Marley was one who said that.
And also,
you know, release yourself from mental slavery.
Kanye West.
And, you know, Kanye West may have those issues. You know?
Kanye West is on it too.
Kanye's he may be there.
That's a whole nother conversation, but I think that
you can spend a whole 2 hours on Kanye.
I think primarily Kanye suffers, you know what I'm saying, from a mental illness, and
I think he has PTSD from his mom dying. I don't think.
Absolutely, 100%.
Didn't they say he was bipolar too, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
It's 100% that.
I think that, you know, if you have something like that you're dealing with, and you're not getting the proper treatments, then, you know, you probably will speak out like that too. You know, I think, and a lot of times he's misunderstood, but a lot of times I don't think he prepares to say the things that he says. You know, there are some people that prepare to speak to the public.
Yeah, they got statements.
And I don't think that he's the type of guy that does that.
He just goes on camera and just starts talking.
He
just goes on.
You know, because he's Kanye West.
It's Kanye. You're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to love it.
Exactly.
You know, it's Kanye.
That's
part of his genius, unfortunately, is like that thing that goes on in his head. That part is genius. You know what I'm saying? It could be mental health illness, but it's genius. You know what I'm saying? It's genius nonetheless.
Yeah, man. I think it's something that we need to understand and address. And again, you know, it stated that he did pass away of cardiac arrest. But what could that have led to at such a young age?
Right. What was the foundation?
What was the foundation of that?
Understood.
I'm sure it'll come out, you know, next couple of days.
Yeah, something will come out, man. And I think we all know it's gonna be something with drugs.
Whatever it is, you know, I just want people. I mean, you know, everyone's not going to, but you know, you have to look at him as you know, someone that needed help.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what it was, you know, he obviously needed some type of help. He's 21 years old.
Young, man.
Very young.
21 and exposed to so much.
Yeah.
Drugs,
it's like
women,
Justin Bieber.
money.
You know, like Justin Bieber, when he was signed at such a young age.
Yeah.
You know, how do you handle all that celebrity when you're a preteen, you know, and you blow up fast? You know what I'm saying? Baby blew up fast on the charts. You're never taught how to handle that. You want the fame, but you're never necessarily prepared for it.
All right. Any closing statements?
Yeah, man. You know, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to mental health, again, you know, the Social Thought Podcast has an open door policy when it comes to that. So definitely reach out to one of us, myself, Mike, Dasani, King Apollo. You know, certainly reach out to us. You know, I think it's important, especially as men. You know, it's important for us men to talk about mental health, talk about what's going on in our lives, so that we're not out there, you know, taking those drugs, and we're not out there doing the things that we would regret.
Sir?
I agree. I think that we gotta cherish life a lot more than we do, and we gotta cherish each other.
Amen.
You know, all day I was looking at people posting whether he was a legend, whether he wasn't a legend, and
Legend or
none
an
of
icon?
That matters. He's
a
gone.
Human. He was human.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the elephant in the room. He's gone, and it doesn't really matter what you say about him now.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta try to prevent that, you know. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Agreed. Thanks, guys.
Agreed, man.
You guys are awesome. All right, so we're gonna get into our next song. We're gonna take a music break. It's gonna be Dasani Red with Spicy.
Spicy.
It's
Spicy,
his
spicy,
favorite
mama.
song.
Spicy, spicy.
It's his career song.
No, this ain't career. That's a favorite.
Oh, I thought you said career song.
This is number one hit. Spicy
man.
Mama.
And it's his favorite song.
I love that song. I love
Yeah,
Spicy.
I appreciate y'all liking that
I
song.
love it. I love
made
all
it
your
in like
music.
15 minutes, man.
Really?
Spicy Mama's number
Seriously,
one.
man.
Underrated by Partisan Fontaine is number two.
Yo, this song is produced and co-written by Phil Major. Shout
Phil
out
Major.
to Phil Major.
Phil Major.
Man.
Major.
Still waiting on that project to drop, man. Waiting on Richard Morris's project to drop too, man.
That's gonna be huge.
Heard some
That's gonna be
snippets on
huge.
his IG. Can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
All right, so with that being said, we're gonna play Spicy. Also, when we come back, we got a promo for you. We got a promo for you. So we'll come back and we'll talk about that. But the next topic, we're gonna be talking about George Zimmerman planning on suing the family of Trayvon Martin for over $100 million in regards to being a victim of conspiracy. Excuse me. Ooh. I love that.
Social
I'm
punch.
so happy. Yes, social punch.
It's not juice.
It's not juice. I also love that this is a podcast and not like a.
We're not monitored by
Yeah,
I need a
FCC.
refill.
We're not monitored by the FCC.
I need a refill.
Right. Along with malicious prosecution and defamation. We'll be right back after Spicy by Dasani Red.
Fuck that nigga that you came with. Know that you be on some lame shit. You can give me top, baby, while I lane switch. See what I am, that nigga ain't it. Loving all your body language. Fucking with you probably dangerous. You know I keep that still, I keep that stainless. I know that pussy probably crazy. She gon' throw it at me, Tom Brady. Dress on me, for the nigga wavy. Bitches fucking tryna have my baby. But I can't fuck with that, probably looking for some cash, goddamn. See that nigga hatin', watch me flex on him. I'ma keep it real, ain't tryna be your man. I'm just in your city for the one night stand. Say she my biggest fan, but tonight she my spicy mama. She my spicy mama. She my spicy mama. And I never ever spend no money on her. No, spicy mama. She my spicy mama. She my spicy mama. And I never ever spend no money on her. No.
Give us a snippet.
I got a new song for y'all too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got a new song.
I got a new song for y'all. You know.
I think we're going to have to play that next week because I don't think I can download
Oh
it
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
definitely.
show.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be back next Sunday. I know, like, we've been doing this trend where we'll be doing every other Sunday, but we're definitely going to be back next Sunday. We're going to get back in the flow. Just trying to get back in the flow of things, you know what I'm saying? We got our new show. Social Thought is now at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
All right? And today's episode is of great importance. It is drugs, fame, mental health. Also, anybody just joining into the Social Thought podcast, listening on Blog Talk Radio and on Facebook Live, and now YouTube as well, because we're streaming to major multiple platforms at the same time. Definitely hit that share button. If you guys are looking to do business with us, okay, you can definitely go to business@thesocialthought.com, business@thesocialthought.com. You can send your music to that, or makingproductions1@gmail.com. You can send music or send us a message. You want to sponsor? You want to an event that you want us to do, live podcast, anything, go to your city or your town to talk to you. Want to talk about mental health? You know what I'm saying? If you need me to, host a forum for you, if you need him to be a part of a forum or host a forum for you, if you need him to perform at your next school event or any event in general.
Spicy Mama.
You know what I'm saying? This is what we are here for.
We cannot perform that at the Baptist Church.
The Social Thought. The Social Thought on all social media platforms and www.thesocialthought.com. Also, guess what? I'm about to throw up a promo real quick. Now, starting. My mom didn't really give me the okay for this, but it's all what it's whatever. It's gonna happen anyway. Look at this. Offer valid from 12/10, this is this Tuesday, all the way up to the 31st of December.
Yes.
Now, Sylvia's Jamaican Restaurant, West Indies Restaurant, is on 105 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York. You can call in and order ahead of time, 845-473-7110. Come in on a Tuesday and mention #SocialThought, and you can get $2 off a meal for $10 or higher. That's right. So that's every Tuesday. If you see the fine print right there, promo only available on Tuesdays throughout the month. You can come in to Sylvia's Jamaican Restaurant, West Indies Restaurant on 105 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York on Tuesday and mention #SocialThought and
take $2 off. Take a picture and send it to us, man.
I'm gonna have to take you up on that.
Promote it, man.
That's a nice offer, right?
Yeah.
Go for the soup, man. The chicken
oxtail
soup.
plates are a little steep, so you need $2 off for oxtail plates.
If you don't know about Sylvia's Jamaican Restaurant, man, it's one of the best Jamaican foods in the Hudson Valley. One of the best.
It's a local staple, man. 20 plus years, right?
Over 20 plus years. The business has
That's
been
amazing,
around.
man.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
Is amazing.
And again, you can get anything from oxtail to curry chicken,
bun and
stewed
cheese,
chicken, bun and cheese, beef patties,
snapper.
You know what I'm saying? Everything. Every Friday and Saturday, serve mac and cheese. The restaurant is closed on Sundays and Mondays, but again, Sylvia's Jamaican Restaurant, 105 Main Street, Poughkeepsie. Yeah. Come in every Tuesday throughout the month, starting this Tuesday. Yeah. Mention #SocialThought, and you get $2 off of a meal, $10 or higher.
And take a picture, man.
Take a picture.
We want to see what you eat, man.
Yeah.
We need proof.
We want proof, and we want to send it to us and all that good stuff. Yeah. Fried chicken. I'm telling you.
Fried chicken.
I'm telling you. So, back to Social Thought. My name is Michael. I'm your host, and this is the pretty legislator, John Carlo Various, and the man with the plan, Dasani Red. And I'm starting. What's up with a Wild Wings vibe? Come on, man.
Come on, you got an hour left on the show.
Yeah, we was just talking about West Indies Restaurant. How we all gonna get food?
But he Tuesday. Asked. He asked if the restaurant was open. It's not open right now, right?
That's true.
Y'all not open.
Nah.
That's true.
But Wild Wings is open. That's why.
They're gonna be open this Tuesday.
I'm
telling you.
2 days. You gotta wait 48 hours.
I'm gonna throw that promo back up. See, offer valid from 12/10 Tuesday, 2019 to 12/31 2019. Come in on a Tuesday and mention #SocialThought and get $2 off of a meal, $10 or higher. Promo only available on Tuesdays throughout the month.
For as long as we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, we know the general manager up in that thing. I think we could probably finagle something.
We should do something,
right?
Because
we are their best customers. Not gonna even lie to you.
We go. What's going on, TJ? Welcome to the show. Anybody just joining the podcast? Definitely hit that share button.
Yes.
Welcome. The topics that we were talking about today in the recent tragic event of Juice WRLD's death, we discussed the idea of the rock star lifestyle in the hip hop community. That discussion was over almost an hour. And we speak about the glorified popularity contest that is today's politics, which is this man is going to talk about with us as well. And right now, the topic that we are going to be talking about is George Zimmerman plans on suing the family of Trayvon
Zimmer
Martin
down,
for
Zimmerman.
$100 million in regards to being a victim of conspiracy along with malicious prosecution and defamation. So if you don't know, oh, Lord have mercy, what did I just do? If you don't know, you about to find out. I'm still streaming, huh?
You got comments.
Oh, I want to vlog. All right. So check this out. George Zimmerman sues Trayvon Martin's family for more than $100 million. Let me just reopen and restream real quick.
Son, I can't believe that we live in a time where the murderer can sue the victim.
And unbelievable, right?
That is the type of time we are on.
That is literally the type
It
of
is,
time we are
that the
on.
murderer can sue the victim.
It's unbelievable.
At the very
What?
least, a slap in the face, man.
Yeah.
What?
It's disgusting, man. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm so annoyed by this. But anyway, so let's
Jesus.
talk about this real quick. George Zimmerman is suing, and this is, NPR article. Bill Chappell. I was looking for the always gotta cite your source, everybody.
APA format.
Absolutely. George Zimmerman is suing the family of the teenager he shot nearly 8 years ago, seeking more than $100 million from Trayvon Martin's parents, their attorney, and others. Zimmerman claims he was the victim of conspiracy along with malicious prosecution and defamation. Martin's family has responded with a statement saying there's no evidence to back Zimmerman's contentions that he was the victim of conspiracy. So now let's go back here, okay? Zimmerman was acquitted on all charges related to the shooting of Martin, who was 17 and unarmed when Zimmerman shot and killed him in a gated Florida community where Martin's father lived. Zimmerman claimed he shot Martin in self-defense during a scuffle, and that's when we had to take a look at the Stand Your Ground law in Florida. Zimmerman had faced charges of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the case, which also shed light on Florida's Stand Your Ground law. Now, again, and the reason why he was arrested and arrested in regards to this was because the overwhelming pressure that the Martin family put on and their lawyers and the growing sense of media presence within that
Black
area.
Lives Matter. Really,
Black Lives Matter is what really
got it going.
set up a charge for this.
Yeah.
Before, he was literally just going to
He was gonna
walk
He
if
was
this
gonna
never
walk.
got any type of attention.
Absolutely.
Now, Zimmerman and his lawyer, the controversial attorney Larry Klayman, alleged that Rachel, I'm just going to say Rachel, a key witness for the prosecution, testified about being on the phone with Martin just before the shooting, was an imposter. They accuse her of standing in for another teenager, Brittany Diamond Eugene, who the suit describes as Gentile's half-sister who did not want to testify in the case. As you said, we are living in a world today where the murderer can sue the victim. Unbelievable.
That is wild.
Now, if you guys didn't also see, a man that attempted to murder, who shot at him,
You get like 20 years?
got convicted.
You got 20 years,
Yeah,
right?
about that. Incredible, huh?
What a life we live in.
What a life we live in. George Zimmerman has been this. He just loves the spotlight. I think that's what it is.
He's going
Ever
broke.
since
He's
this,
going broke.
yeah, he's going broke,
He's
and
going
ever
broke.
since this tragedy, he has done nothing but stirred up every type of controversy he could over the last 8 to 10 years.
You can't sue for conspiracy
Mhm.
if you decided to go to an NRA function and sell the gun that you say shot Trayvon Martin.
Right.
That's not a conspiracy anymore. You're selling the gun, so you shot him.
Right.
What's the conspiracy there? You can't call that a conspiracy. You were trying to sell the gun that you shot the kid with.
I just think that with him making this ballsy and devilish move,
Mhm.
it's taking the Band-Aid off, and it's really at the very least irritating and hurting his family.
Mhm.
I'm sure they wanted justice for their son. They didn't want the spotlight. They didn't want fame.
Mhm.
They didn't want any of that. And him doing this, like I said, it's a slap in the face. It's I'm gonna do this. I got away with killing your son.
Mhm.
You're not. I'm gonna get away with whatever I want to get away with.
Right.
And hey, I got away with the murder, so let me try and go and get some money too. Let me see how far I can actually get. Yeah, and
I agree.
Like this is just this is so tragic and it's so low, and you really and you really got to ask yourself, like damn, how far has the human race fallen? Like you really gonna?
I mean, can you? And when you say that, when you say how far has the human race fallen, what can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
I think that there have been, so many like malicious crimes, so many bad things that have happened, but it's really getting bad. It's really getting bad. Carelessness is at an all-time high. And everything's a trend. I feel like if I see one more movie or show that's about a cop killing an unarmed black person, like I really feel like that's a genre now. What's the show on Netflix? 7 Seconds.
Oh yeah.
Queen and Slim just came out, and that's kind of
American Boy or whatever.
Yeah, American Son. Like everything, like they're literally making money and movies about the harsh reality that we live in.
And we experience that as real.
And
they're making fantasies
it's
about
horrible.
reality. Yeah.
Like it's literally horrible. Like, and that's why I said, like the human race has like fallen like so much. Like there is no morale. There is no standards.
But I wonder if and see, that's why I wanted you to elaborate on that, because have we fallen off as a human race? Because this has been, the type of lifestyle that African Americans have lived for hundreds of years.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
Hundreds of
right.
years. So it's not just, it's slavery, you know what I'm saying? And then it's segregation.
Went from slavery to sharecropping to segregation.
Right. Now we're living
Jail.
we're living in a systemic
mass incarceration.
Yeah, systemic type of it's a systemic lifestyle now.
Absolutely.
So I wonder, is it that we've fallen off, or is it just ways, because every new generation achieves some type of new freedom, but there's also, with that freedom comes some type of system that still traps us.
Yeah, I think they found a new way to trap us. That's really what it is. There's no slavery, right? But we're going to get you one way or another. We're going to figure out a way to keep you down. And it's bold moves like this that prove that they can still do it. They're fully capable of keeping us where they want us while they're still elevating themselves.
And this comes at a time, there's no coincidence that George Zimmerman is doing this at the same time where Trayvon Martin's mother is running for office.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if she's called to the stand, it's taken away from her campaigning, it's taken away from petitioning, because they know that she could win this race and make some powerful laws, as in trying to advocate for the abolishing of the Standard Ground Law. Right. So it's no coincidence that it's happening in this way. But I agree with Dasani, man. That there's always a new system to keep us down. There's always a new system. That system now is mass incarceration for black and brown people. There is more black and brown people in jail than in the United States.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Man, for petty crimes.
50%, 52%
and
is
shout out to
46 is in the population.
Shout out to the First Step Act, coined by many and fought for by many to reduce the sentencing or to release many people of color or people that are in jail of petty crimes.
Sure. I'm waiting to what happens when they finally legalize marijuana. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. For the fact is that the jails make a lot of money off those drug dealers of nonviolent crimes, because they can set the bail at so high. So hence why things like bail reform is important. I think bail reform should go on a case-by-case basis, right? But you legalize marijuana, all people who have nonviolent drug charge offenses, those records should be abolished. They should be erased. They should not be considered a felon. They should not have a misdemeanor, nothing like that. Because now what's happening is white people are gonna, take the money that we worked hard for to do on the street. You know what I'm saying? People don't become drug dealers just to become drug dealers. It's because they have an environment in their community where they see no other option.
Mm-hmm.
Now, white people are going to take advantage of that and then tax us for it? You better let all my bros out.
Right.
Let all my bros out before you do all that. And abolish their records. Clean those records.
Coming back to the Zimmerman thing, if there is any way in hell that this man gets any kind of money from
it's not.
Man, I hope
let's
not,
be honest.
man.
Just
Boy.
think, because
I
I'm
was
sorry,
doing a
I
little
can't
more
put nothing
research into
past.
this.
I can't put nothing
There has
past
no
nobody.
leg to stand on. This type of.
You never
Yeah.
know, bro. We thought.
Yeah,
we
that's
thought,
true. That's
we
true.
thought he
You're
was
right.
gonna
You're
get
right.
the
You
book.
never know. You never know.
And
But
Exactly.
people were at Zimmerman's throat.
That's what, and that's what's so scary.
Oh man, it is, bro. You're right.
I don't care if he
bro.
walks away with $1 million. That's a loss, man.
That's a loss. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're absolutely right. He just made. That's the crazy part, because you got to understand. There's people who feel sympathy for people like George Zimmerman. There's people who sympathize with him.
Lord have mercy. Sometimes when I try to keep hope alive, man,
It's just the reality that we live in.
it is the reality.
Some
and
people sympathize with George Zimmerman.
I'm,
People think that he's the victim.
yeah, and it's crazy.
Whoa, the one with the shotgun is the victim?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at look when they see us, man.
Look at when they see us.
When they see us.
And look at the damage that's done.
You know, it's actually really funny. It's actually really funny this topic comes up actually because, right before we came here, I was having dinner with my family and we were actually talking about how there is a major world of people in this country. There's literally a whole side of this country who's never been exposed to black people. And
Yeah.
the first time they ever see black people, they have these thoughts in their head that, oh, this is how they are on
TV.
Yeah,
This is what they gotta
exactly.
be like, right?
This is whatever stereotype that they put out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My mom gave me a story one time of when she first went into the military and she met somebody and she said, oh, she said the person that she bunked with never met a black person in their life before.
Wow. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Because I'll be honest, when I moved up here from Mount Vernon, it was the first time that I saw white folks on a regular basis. Because I lived on 3rd and 3rd in Mount Vernon. That's the hood, bro. Like, all you see is black and brown people. You may see white people who are your teachers, right? But they're not like your neighbors or people that you bump into in the supermarket.
Right.
So I can see that. I can see that. I can understand.
Yeah, I grew up when I was going to school in South Carolina. We had 2 white kids in school and 1 Mexican kid. Everyone else was black.
Right.
So I guess I can believe that, because if we can go through that, they can kind of experience the same thing.
Absolutely.
That's sad though.
It is. It's
That's
sad. It's sad.
That's sad.
But again, George Zimmerman, he is a narcissistic, disgusting person, human being. I don't understand. And again, I think you're right. He's broke.
He's broke.
And he's looking for some type of way, some new claim to fame, and suing the family of Trayvon Martin.
Dude, that's low.
That's
That's low.
Like I said, man,
You
that
have
is
to be
such a devilish move.
It
man.
is, yeah.
And you must- and
nailed it, bro. I couldn't have said it better, Dasani.
Again, these lawyers, they sell their soul for anything, man.
Yep.
To even sit here and take this case.
And I promise you, there's gonna be a sympathizer. I promise.
Absolutely. Of course there will be. This is disgusting. Any closing thoughts on this topic?
George Zimmerman,
The POS.
yeah, and he should have been in jail.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
This shouldn't even be a topic, because he shouldn't be a free man.
Absolutely.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it? You got nothing?
I got nothing.
That's it?
Got nothing.
All right, y'all. One more time. Or maybe 2 more times before the end of the show. Check this out. Sylvia's Jamaican. Sylvia's Jamaican restaurant, West Indies restaurant, 105 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York. Phone number to call is 845-473-7110. Open from Tuesday to Saturday.
And what do they have over there? What kind of food they got over there?
Authentic Jamaican food. Oxtail.
Beans, greens, tomatoes.
You name it. You name it. Sylvia's Jamaican restaurant. Got it.
Come in on a Tuesday and mention #Social Thought and get $2 off of a meal, $10 or higher. Promo only available on Tuesdays throughout the month.
Yeah.
Offer valid from 12/10 to 12/31/2019. So every Tuesday you can come into the restaurant, order you something that is at least $10 or higher,
Yes.
and you'll get $2 off the meal.
So you can order 5 beef patties and ask for that.
Yeah, something like that.
Or a medium oxtail.
All you gotta do is come in and mention #Social Thought on a Tuesday. Look at that.
Mention it. Take a picture. Share it with us, man. We want to see.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Best place in PK, man.
They got oxtail, stewed chicken, curry chicken, curry goat.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Cock feet soup.
Chicken foot soup.
That's not what they call it.
Nah, I don't
That's not what they call it back home.
You go to the counter and ask for something. Me no have that.
We don't have that.
They say y'all split.
All right, next song, LJ the
Broken
One.
last
We'll be
one.
back, and we're gonna be talking about politics as
There you go.
usual. We're gonna talk about that, and if we still have time, we're just gonna talk.
We just gonna chill out.
We're just gonna chill
Yeah,
out.
talk
We
and
want
talk.
to know what you want to talk
End of
about.
the end of the year episode.
Yeah, we can talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
the end of the year episode.
New Year's.
Yes.
Bloop bloop. We'll be back.
When I first saw you, I knew I just had to have you by my side. No lie, walked over and said, would you mind? If I can ask you for your number and your name, excuse me if you think I sound kinda lame. I don't mean to, there's something I have to tell you. Everything I see, can't look in your eyes, it's reminding me. My heart just gets to beat every time I'm with you, and I feel so weak. I'm not gonna mess this up. You're the only one I want, and I'm so in love. I know you love me just as much the same. That's why I'm giving this ring, 'cause you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one for me. Anything just to see you smile. Wanna kick it with you for a while. I'm the type to do you right and never hurt you. My baby, I can touch and reminisce on the days when I had one wish. Can I get to know you? Baby, your eyes are surrounding me. My heart just gets to beat every time I'm with you, and I feel so weak. I'm not gonna pass this up. You're the only one I want, and I'm so in love. I know you love me just as much the same. That's why I'm giving this ring, 'cause you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one for me. You are the only one for me. I like your style, it's so sexy. It drives me crazy. I can't believe that you are the one for me. That you are the one for me. I said you are the only one for me. I like your style, it's so sexy. It drives me crazy. I can't believe that you are the one for me. That you are the one for me. You're the one. Only one for me. You're the one. I like your style, it's so sexy. You're the
I said.
I like that joint right there. I like, yeah, it got
Okay,
that soul.
yeah,
It got that soul to
soul
it.
to it.
It definitely got that soul to it, man. Shout out to LJ. I like that. I really like that. That was good, man.
Yeah, there's a little Luther in there.
A little bit of Luther.
Welcome back to Social Thought, everybody. I'm your host, Michael. I got Dasani Red on my right. I got the prettiest legislator, John Carlo Oliveris, on my left. And we are talking drugs, fame, and mental health. Also, we're gonna finish up our topics today with we speak on the glorified popularity contest that is today's politics. All right. If you have been watching the show so far, we talked about the recent and tragic event of Juice WRLD's death. We discussed the idea of the rock star lifestyle in the hip-hop community, which is why we got the name drugs, fame, and mental health. George Zimmerman plans on suing the family of Trayvon Martin for over $100 million. We just spoke on that topic. And politics. Yeah. Politics.
Something Dasani Red knows about because he's a city councilman for...
Boy, I might not never. I might not never. I ain't dealing with no politics.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Dasani Red for city council.
All right, those of you that's just jumping into Social Thought on Facebook Live, definitely hit that share button. All right, and also we are on Restream now, so we are broadcasting to multiple platforms. Yeah. Like YouTube, Facebook, and other things that we're working on.
Yeah, we got big stuff for 2020. So.
Absolutely. www.thesocialthought.com and Business at the Social Thought, where you can hit us up for music. You can send us your music because we like to play independent artists. And also, business. We like to do business with you.
Man,
we want to do business with the community.
We are a remote podcast as well, so we are a traveling podcast. So if you have shows in your area, we love to put a spotlight on those areas who would never receive the spotlight. So we are there to shine a light on your community, on your social thought, on what you're doing in your city, your town. Holler at us, man. We would love to know your social thought in your neck of the woods.
I just burped if y'all smell that.
Nah, I know.
Yeah, man. I think it went your direction. Definitely went your direction.
Spicy Davis.
Spicy breath.
Spicy Davis.
All right, let's talk politics. If you guys don't know, the impeachment inquiry has been going on, and Trump, of course, as always, is yelling, screaming, and kicking and crying about how this is a hoax. Now, Mr. Politic himself, from what we have been following in this impeachment inquiry, do you believe that he committed an obstruction of justice in abusing his power of office?
Absolutely. Once he decided to do the investigation on Biden's family, obviously it's no joke, or it's a myth that it's not a myth that Russians meddled in the election. All that is true. I think Democrats are wasting a lot of time on it. I really do. And I say that as a faithful Democrat. Like, I am a faithful Democrat. But I think we are wasting too much time on that. There's a lot more that we can be doing. While Trump is doing what he's doing, we can be, coming together as a caucus. I'm thinking about the House and in the Senate, as those people at the federal level, coming together and combating opioid addictions, looking at certain disenfranchised communities, black and brown communities who do not have youth centers, who do not have trade schools. We can be focusing our energy on so much more bigger things. I think what is going to happen, honestly, with this impeachment, going further, is that it's going to piss off his base. And if he gets impeached, I promise you he'll get voted back in. And that'll be crazy.
Yeah, and that's what leads to this popularity contest that we call in today's politics.
Absolutely. I mean, even with popularity, it does play a part. It does play a part because a lot of politics is perception.
Right.
It's not necessarily what the person can necessarily bring to the table. In my case, I can do both. I bring a lot of things to the table, and I'm also pretty popular, right? And so,
feeling himself.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm the prettiest legislator in Dutchess County, baby.
Only say it here on the show.
Until I run. I'm not running. Definitely not.
But definitely, it's a popularity contest. A part of it, you have. It's almost like in music. You have to stay consistently relevant.
Yeah.
And if you're not relevant in politics, nobody's gonna care for you. If you're not in front of people, if you're not going to events, if you're not posting on a consistent basis, nobody's gonna know you from a hole in the wall.
And we stated this. We talked about this yesterday. Right? Yesterday, no, day before yesterday, we all went out. We spoke about this, and we were saying how because he's just so consistent, and because the media is also so consistent in speaking about everything bad that he's doing, I feel like it's only fueling him more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's getting people to be like, oh my gosh, why are so many people so against him? You know what, man? Let's go out and vote for him. Let's support him. Let's do that. And I think that's what's going on. I mean, it is obvious. I mean, if you've seen any of the testimonies or anything, it's absolutely obvious that he, definitely committed an offense. Absolutely. An impeachable offense. He committed an impeachable offense. Now, the thing is that there are more Republicans in the House than there are, I think, it's either the House or the Senate. I have to look into it again. But there are more Republicans than there are Democrats. So once it hits the floor to vote, it's not going to do anything. It's going to get thrown out. So that's why I don't believe that's why Republicans are so for him right now. Democrats are, of course, against him, and but I think that, as you said, it's only going to upset his base more, and there's going to be more of an overwhelming amount of people to come out and vote for him. I think, this popularity contest within politics is that we're not even talking about policy anymore.
No.
There's no talk about policy. What is he doing? What's getting done behind the scenes? We don't know, because all we can see is tweets and, just combativeness going back and forth between Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and again, I'll hit you with something. He's holding up the economy. If you guys haven't seen, job reports came out. Over 225,000 jobs were created within last month. And that's a leg that he has to stand on. But
if you look at where that came from, that was inherited by
and again, but that's not how they're gonna see it. You already know that's not how they're gonna see it. So 225,000 jobs created in the last month under this sitting president now. How can you argue it? Right. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, what is rule, what is put out there is law in regards to, his followers and his support.
That's one thing that I think that a lot of people have to us as civilians, we gotta learn to do. We gotta learn to separate, the person, I guess, from the actions, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not defending Donald Trump, but when you talk to a lot of people and they talk about why they don't like Donald Trump, they talk about his personality, and I think he's a terrible person, but you gotta go on more than that. You can't get up here and say, hey, he sucks as a person, he's a bad person, he's done this, he's done that. You gotta have that concrete thing that'll push him out.
But you got to remember, what people are tired of is that traditional politician. The reason why they voted him in was because he's a businessman. They need something away from politics, because they just feel like our politicians have failed us over the years. That's how people feel. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, you're playing into a lot of people's fears as well.
Yeah.
Immigration, the economy, etc. So when you mix that all up, you know what I'm saying, and you also put one of the main things that a lot of people fear in this country, which is seeing another black president or seeing a woman as a president. You get Donald Trump.
Yeah, I just wish that when people come to attack this man, you gotta be ready, because one thing about him is He's smart as hell. He's proven to be very strategic. I think that you gotta have everything. All your cards gotta be in play when you come and try to remove this man. It can't just be one or two things. Like there needs like the whole like you gotta have everything in place, and I think that's why there have been you know I guess failed attempts because no one who has tried to remove this man or that's really given it a shot has had it all together. You know, like you really gotta catch this man red-handed, concrete evidence on everything.
But there is. That's the crazy.
Yeah,
it's got to be undeniable because I just feel like they're overlooking it still.
I'm telling you right now, no one else could be in office right now and all this going on. There's no other person that could literally go through. Obama would never.
Oh hell no!
They would have
not a black dude.
Would have been gone.
Definitely not a black dude. I just feel like for whatever reason, like everything that they're bringing is not enough because he's still there. Like.
Right.
Like I know he's done some terrible things. I know he's abused his power.
All politicians have done terrible things. There is no politician that is squeaky clean.
Right.
You could look at someone like Kamala Harris, which I'm so glad she dropped out because I wasn't gonna vote for her ass anyway because how her record with criminal justice reform is despicable.
Right.
But all politicians that have done some dirty stuff, you can't name just one clean person.
No, none of them is clean. But I think the person that's going to take the forefront is Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are the only two that will sit up and really talk the smack that they need to talk back to Donald Trump. I believe that the first presidential debate, and we talked about that as well, the first presidential debate is going to literally just be both of them bickering back and forth at each other.
And the crazy thing is, like, Biden, it's funny, like, Biden has the black support. He has the support of black people. Bernie Sanders has the support of millennials, but here's the thing: millennials aren't coming out to vote.
Yeah,
they're right there to rally and parlay and do all this stuff, but when push comes to shove, and you got to fill in that circle, they're not there to do that. So it's troubling. I think if the millennials turn out, Bernie could really win the primary and be the candidate.
Right.
If not, it'll definitely be Joe Biden.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's just such a shame because I feel like voting is a simple task.
I think it's been since Lyndon Johnson.
What?
Since there's been only a one-term president, I believe.
Oh man.
Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah. So I mean the prediction is that Donald Trump is going to win 2020.
I believe it, son. If we do not put Bernie Sanders,
I believe it
as
too.
the candidate, if we don't put somebody who's extreme to the left to go against someone who's extreme to the right, we are going to lose, and he is going to get reelected. I promise you.
I'm probably putting it
Biden
on there.
will not win.
Yeah, I'm putting it on here right now that Donald Trump is most likely going to win 2020.
If Biden's candidate,
I'm sorry.
Trump is going to win. I promise Trump is going to win if Biden is the candidate. If Bernie's the candidate, we got a fighting chance.
Yeah, fighting chance. I think Donald Trump is going to win 2020. I think he's going to win it. They're not going to impeach him.
It won't.
They're not going to get him out of office.
I don't think so.
And he's most likely going to win 2020. My true thought is that the reason behind the impeachment inquiry and everything, of course, and the way it's being played out is because they're trying to make him look as bad as possible for voters.
For that. Sure.
And again, a good friend of mine, Mr. Dasher himself, said if he gets away with this, which is a clear obstruction of justice, which is a clear abuse of power within the presidency, if he does get away with this, what's to stop him from doing something like this again?
Right.
If he can get away with it once, why can't he get away with it again?
He's the only guy who can get away with everything.
And guys, you cannot deny it. It is in the transcript. It is written. It is written. It is there. There are many people confirming that this is a clear obstruction of justice. This is a clear abuse of power.
Even people from his own staff.
And people from his own staff have come out. You know what I'm saying? One of his biggest donors who was on his staff came out and stated that, you know, this is what he did. And again, so it's clear. But what's going to stop him from doing like something like this again?
You know what's the worst part about it? The people that vote for Trump, some of them are poor whites who vote against their own interests. They're voting for Trump, but they still know they're voting against their own interests.
Yeah, because they see, again, like I said, they see a businessman, so they feel like this businessman is going to be able to dig us out of this hole. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who look and seek the government to assist them. Right. All right?
Or they just see color, but, you know.
Or that. What up, Ariel? We see you.
Thank you, Ariel.
They're just racist honkies.
All right. Calm down. We're not going to use any racial slurs on Social Thought. Thank you.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
There we go. That's how you change it. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, America was looking for something different from your traditional politician, and
I agree.
You know, again, they didn't want to see another person of color or a woman as a president, and this is what you got.
Well,
you got to go with the lesser of two evils, right?
Hillary Clinton didn't have anything good going for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, with those emails, bro. Those emails was not good, and I agree. You know, the American people were tired of seeing politician after politician after politician, and they had somebody, Donald Trump, who is not that person. You know, he's not a politician by any means. But someone, for the most part, that people have seen have ran good businesses. You know, he has his name on everything: Trump Towers, Trump Hotels, Trump Golf Courses, right? So someone who has taken ownership of things.
And of course, again, people are going to vote with what's fresh in their minds as well. If they don't really know the other person that they're going to vote for, they're going to vote for the person who's, they're going to vote, again, popularity. Popularity. They're going to vote for the person that's like, you know, people that just go to the polls just to vote, because again, remember, you're having a overwhelming amount of people register to vote, and half of these people don't watch the news. So when you go to the polls to vote, because everyone's saying you need to vote because it's your right, you need to vote, it's your right, you need to vote, you know how important it is to vote? So these young kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, are probably going out and voting, and they're like, well, I don't watch the news. I don't know who Bernie Sanders is. I don't really know who Joe Biden is.
I know who Donald Trump is.
You know what I'm saying? But I do know who Donald Trump is, because everywhere I go, I hear about a tweet, or I hear about this, I hear about that. So,
you know, as crazy as people say, you know, he should take down his Twitter, it makes him relevant.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. Like, it's outlandish. It's outlandish. But remember, I said, in order to be in politics, you have to be relevant in it. And so, however you can be, you do that. You know, and hell, it's not for nothing. It's working, dude. Right. Like, it's working. So that's why I say, you know, we need somebody like Bernie Sanders who's extreme to the left, or else we're gonna have the Trump 2020.
Absolutely. So, any closing thoughts on this topic here?
You know, please go out to vote when the time comes. Please vote by person and not by party. You know, a lot of people just, you know, vote Democrat all the way without really knowing who the person is. So definitely vote by person and not necessarily or vote by platform, not necessarily by party. And, you know, vote, man. It's important. It really counts. It really, really counts.
And other countries are going to interfere in the election, so it doesn't matter if you vote or not.
And Jeffrey Epstein
did not kill himself. My closing thought on this is, before you do everything that John Carlos said, educate yourselves on all of these candidates, like, and choose the one that is best for you, or, you know, your community. But really, really, really educate yourselves. You know, I had to do it myself. You know, I was a first-time voter this year, and I just turned 26 2 days ago.
Yes.
And I had that mindset that, you know, what am I voting for? You know, these people for. Like I'm in the hood. They not changing none of this. So what am I voting for? And I had to break free of that mindset, and I educated myself, and I voted this time around, and I'll continue to vote. But you definitely have to educate yourself.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
My man.
Thank you.
Dasani Red.
Good job. Good job. All right. Anybody coming into the live on Facebook right now?
Vote on a local
yes.
level.
Vote on a local level.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Vote for Dasani Red for second ward of the city council. He's going to do a phenomenal job with garbage picking, street sweeping, and window cleaning. So make sure that you vote for this guy, and he's going to bring enormous changes to the city of Poughkeepsie.
Not in the way that he just explained, but
you know what he's saying.
We're trying to make some moves.
No, but definitely on a local level, it's definitely important. A lot of people know who the president is, but don't know who their mayor is, who their city council person is, who their county legislature person is, who can make laws that directly affect their life.
Yeah, I'm not so much into politics, but I attended 2 park cleanups this summer.
Yes, you did.
Thanks to John Carlo.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed them. They were very beneficial. It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot too.
All right. So when we come back during our break, we're gonna come up with a final topic in the last 18 minutes last 15 minutes of social.
We want to find out what you guys want to talk about.
Yeah.
Give
what do y'all want to talk about?
Off the cuff.
Yeah, just comment.
Off the cuff.
The last episode for the year of Social Thought, we are looking for things to wrap up for the year of 2019. Best music artists, best movies, favorite moments, memes, things of that matter. So if you guys have any suggestions, you could comment and let us know, because we're going to need help with the last episode. It's going to be a pretty big one, real exciting. So definitely let us know.
Look at this guy.
Spicy mama.
Spicy mama. Dasani Red with Hands Off You, and then we'll be back. You see, I'm playing your music.
Oh, yeah, the hits.
It's that bedroom music, baby.
Loving when you say you're coming over. Put you to sleep and wake you up like Folgers. Kisses from your neck onto your shoulders. Just to get you wet, you know you got that super soaker. We should get away for the weekend, just so I can dive in your deep end. Kisses on your thighs, that's your weakness. I think you deserve some special treatment. Girl, you got me cleaning. Get hot and fuck and sleep, girl, that's the sequence. Shit. It ain't no need for speaking, it ain't no need for defense, so baby, just let me in. I know you've been searching, you've been looking for some loving, baby, let me drive you crazy, baby. I know you've been searching, you've been looking for some loving, baby, don't think I can't keep my hands off you. There's a meeting in my bedroom, we should be getting there soon. Ain't nothing to compare to. This love that I'ma give you, promise that you won't forget about it. Baby girl, I promise to be gentle. Satisfying you is on my mental. Ain't perfect, but you're damn close. I'm about to show you what it's here for. I know you've been searching, you've been looking for some loving, baby, let me try to crazy, baby. I know you've been searching, you've been looking for some loving, baby, don't think I can't.
produced by Black Child.
That was produced by Rich Morris. Rich
He
Morris.
meant to say
produced
Dark
that.
Child, by the way.
Right.
He meant
Black
to say-
Child.
Definitely meant to say Dark Child.
Nah, I mean
Black Child. Who's that?
Welcome back to Social
Rich
Thought,
Morris.
everybody. We're about to close out. We are about to close out of the show here. We got another 14 minutes left. I am your host, Michael. This is Dasani Red. That was Hands Off You, by the way. Created by this man right here. Produced by Rich Morris. And we have the prettiest legislator in Hudson Valley, John Carlo Laverius. Anybody looking for Social Thought, to be at your next event, you can message us at makinproductions1@gmail.com or business@thesocialthought.com.
Yes.
We are willing and ready to show up to your event to definitely do some coverage of that. If you need hosts, we are hosts. If you need speakers, we are speakers. If you need musicians, we are musicians, DJs, and all that. We do it all. Also, literally. Also, guess what's happening starting Tuesday?
What's da 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 da?
Big up!
Beans, greens, tomatoes.
Sylvia's Jamaican Restaurant, Sylvia's Jamaican West Indies Restaurant on 105 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York. The number to call is 845-473-7110. Offered valid from 12:10 to 12:31. Come in on a Tuesday and mention #Social Thought and get $2 off of a meal, $10 or higher. Promo only available on Tuesdays throughout the month. Only Tuesdays. So don't go in there on a Wednesday and be like,
What's up? What's Social Thought?
Yo,
Let me
what's
get an
good?
oxtail plate with $2 off.
Exactly.
Don't forget the gravy. Like, calm down. Tuesdays.
That's it.
So we had a question by Ryan Donovan. Do you think New York City should separate from the rest of New York when it comes to politics? I feel like it should. I don't believe the city should dictate Upper New York. If it wasn't for New York City, Ryan, New York State would be red. So I think New York City does have a lot of influence, yes. And I hate that New York City does get to dictate what happens in here, Upper New York. But I rather have that than to have our area be red, even though, Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County as a whole is red, right? And whether we separate or coexist with New York City, unless something drastic changes here, it's always going to be that way. I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary for New York City to separate. I don't think so.
We had another one from Ariel saying, "Can we wrap up the city girls and the messages that they send to young girls?" Man, listen.
City Girls is what's hot right now.
As a musician, I try not to, judge people by the content that they put out, but I understand that there are some outlandish things. I'd like to think that the city girls are most likely a product of their environment by way of Florida. But honestly, I think that a lot of the stuff that they talk about is the things that men have been talking about for years,
Right.
About, how they don't need, whatever, how they just here for the money. And
Double standard in music?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of it. I won't lie. But I feel like men have gotten away with way worse with the things in music. But yeah, I do understand. Like I feel like the last couple of years there has been a shortage of good content in music. And you're a musician too. See, it's up to us to like save the music game, because a lot of people, they don't really talk about much. It's unfortunate. But they get in that bag, so I'm not gonna really hate on them. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of what they speak about.
Ain't one of the city girls like married or engaged or something like that?
One of them just had a kid
or something like that. Because it's crazy that.
Oh no, but that is
because you find artists who talk about all this.
Yes.
Stuff, you find out they're married.
Yes.
Or like Future. You know what I'm saying? He said he's never done drugs before, but he's been asked and always told to rap about it, to speak about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard that.
Someone like 2 Chainz has a master's degree, right? But you never hear about that part.
Yeah.
And how he runs business
Snoop
operations.
Dogg had been happily married for God knows how
almost
long.
30 years. Ice Cube.
Yeah, they gotta continue to sell that dream or
that persona.
Gotta have that persona.
So I don't think music should be taken so seriously when it's
I don't know though.
superficial.
And that's what I was gonna. That's how I wanted to
about
end.
the City Girls tells me that they're serious, man. I don't know, man. I be believing them when they be saying what they be saying. Like it's a little too.
They got conviction in their voices.
They speak from experience. Sounds like.
Yeah, man. I don't think that and I think that's something that should be in the fine print to not really glorify this lifestyle. These kids shouldn't be trying to live that lifestyle.
But we're so
they're very influenced. Yeah, exactly.
Like I was so influenced to wear pink with Cameron, son. I wore pink on damn near every day. Wore like 5X tees.
Music really influences us.
You are absolutely correct, Ryan, and I thank you so much for that. And this is exactly why, and again, 2020 is going to be definitely a very different outlook for social thought because
absolutely right.
We're going to be streaming from a different side, okay? And we are going to have more guests on here that may be on that will definitely be on the opposite side of politics. So these discussions are going to get way more heated. Of course, we're gonna, keep it, cordial.
Keep it respectful.
Keep it respectful.
But I think Dave Chappelle said it best, man. Yeah. That people say just because we disagree that we don't have to like each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with a lot of people. Doesn't mean that I necessarily don't like you. You know what I'm saying? We could disagree and still be cool. Like, I hate Mike Davis, but I do the show.
We was just eating off the same wing plate the other night. That don't sound like hate to me.
Don't sound like hate.
And Ariel, and see, that's the thing. See, you said like they're really about what they speak about. It's hard to argue with authenticity. No matter like how harsh it is, and you gotta think if they spoke about, I don't know, anything other than what they're speaking about, would it sell? I really don't know. I mean, because their ability, as far as like lyricism and all of that, it's not as high as other women artists, or other artists, so to speak, whatever. So I don't know if they would last if they didn't stand out and say these outlandish things.
Right.
So.
All right. That's it. That's it. Ryan said, keep up the good work, guys. Even though we are on the opposite side of politics, I feel both sides need to be open to talk. That's the only way America will become a better place for everyone. That's exactly. We want to open up the discussion. That's what social thought is, man. We want to bring the discussion to light, and we want to get it from both sides, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for all that. So again, like I said, 2020 is going to be definitely going to be a different outlook. We're going to be definitely having more diversity on this show, and we're gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna make it happen. Social thought.
Wow.
Everybody, as we close out, I am your host one more time, Michael. You can follow us at The Social Thought. You can send your music and any type of business that you want to do with us, business@thesocialthought.com. This is Dasani Red, music extraordinaire. He writes his music and he sings his own music.
That's right. I'll write your music too. Just hit me up on Instagram at Dasani, like the water, _red. We can talk business, collaborations, and all of that.
Right. And
Spicy Mamas.
The prettiest legislator in the Hudson Valley, John Carlo Various.
Yeah.
As well. Everybody, this has been another awesome episode of Social Thought. We will see you all next week for more fun and games. Adios.
Adios.
Thank you and goodbye.